This is St Andrew's Square in Edinburgh. Welcome to the 11th outing of Yes, How Can I Help? Now, this week we've gone back to the original, the OG format, no guest. We are lining up a guest for the following week. There were a lot of suggestions for guests over the past couple of episodes, including, but not limited to, Michelle Obama, Michael Barrymore, Angela Merkel, Ricky Gervais, Pinocchio. A lot of these are going to be quite difficult to chase up, so bear with us. Back to me this week, and I attempt solo to answer as many of your questions and clear up as many of your problems as I can. Now, we've had a fair bit of feedback, and it's always lovely to hear from fans interacting with the content. There are a couple of quite lengthy responses to answers. I would remind you again that answers given in this service are always right. This is the point of Yes, How Can I Help? It is infallible in a way that AI isn't. There were several comments like this. I really do wish you'd revise your make Alex walk backwards through large crowds policy. Sticking to your principles is important, of course, but it's so stressful to watch. Someone else. Next time, Mark should walk backwards. Someone else again. Why is it always Alex walking back? And so on. Have you ever seen me do anything? I don't know why you think it'd be less stressful watching me try to walk backwards while looking at my phone, but like any other AI, I'm able to adapt and give the public what it wants or what it thinks it wants. So we're going to attempt an Alex walking forwards, Watson walking backwards combination, and let's see how much fun that is. Be careful what you wish for, you fools.
This is going to be bliss.
Yeah, fine for you. So I'm just going to line up the first comment, which, as I say, it's always nice to hear from fans. We'll put 10 minutes on the clock. Today's questions are a combination of those left over from the past couple of episodes and, as I say, some feedback. This is a funny series, but your brush off of the morality of buying prepared fruit. Sorry, this is a funny series, but your brush off of the morality of buying prepared fruit was perhaps a bit too casual. There is definitely a morality behind buying fruit that is already cut up and in plastic containers. The plastic itself is one issue. Another issue is the dumbing down of the consumer and the overpricing of the product. And among other issues, I'll also list that prepared fruit is an indicator of people being forced to work too long and spending too little time doing pleasant activities like preparing fruit with their families. To say there's no such thing as morality when it comes to food would piss off any decent vegan no end. Not that I agree with their morality, but it's definitely morality based on food. I think this is the question we'll have to walk back on your answer. I'm quite literally walking back next week, since there's always at least one you have to walk back. Well, first of all, thank you TLG555. I suppose you're right. Yes, it was a bit flip of me to say there's no morality connected with food. I suppose what I would say is, and you're right about the plastic.
Tree!
Oh, Christ. Yeah, it's not as easy as it looks, is it? Well, I mean, it actually doesn't look easy. I suppose what I would say is, yes, you're probably right, but then we would have to assess our relationship with almost all consumer goods and the fact that we are enthralled to work and capitalism. That's not just about fruit, it's about an entire reordering of the planet. Thanks!
This feels like a hostage. I feel like I'm threatening you with a knife.
Also, and this is from a couple of weeks ago. Well, don't you worry. This is from a couple of weeks ago. I do feel a bit like you're advancing on me with a knife, but I felt like that before, remember?
Route!
Oh, somebody's navigated the route like a boss. Again, this is from a couple of weeks ago when I suggested that stew or casserole would be the best thing to eat every day, other than mayo, because you could change up the components. This person says, your answer to what food to have every day has left me in a blind rage. Changing the ingredients makes it a different meal. Absolutely fuming. The whole moral foundation of this service has been brought into disrepute. I feel physically sick. My wife is howling in emotional pain. My children no longer respect me. Thanks a lot. But then, 10 out of 10, great video, would recommend. So, mixed messages there. Don't get me started on the correspondence we've had about whether a straw has one hole or a hole exists. There's absolutely loads of those. Straws have two holes. If a straw only had one hole, it would be a bag. What? Is a straw a bag? Is a hole a thing? Topologically, a straw just has one hole. So it goes on. Oh yeah, a hole's a thing, don't worry about it.
Tree!
Well, that's miles away.
You keep walking directly at them.
So a hole is a thing, and a straw I don't think is a bag. It's now time for a new set of questions. Hi Mr. Watson, what percentage of your jumpers are 100% natural materials? Do you also hate synthetic fibres? No, I've actually got quite a number of tops which are synthetic fibres. Let's pick up the pace a bit. It's good for Watson. I don't hate any clothes, actually, but there are lots of clothes I don't think I would look good in. When we go to sleep, are we really the same consciousness when we wake up in the morning, or nah? Very difficult, of course, again, consciousness, but I would say yes. The question, though, of what state your consciousness is in during sleep gives me the heebies to think about. But yes, don't worry, you're the same person as you were yesterday. Almost always.
Pigeons!
Sorry, yes, pigeons. Apparently wasps are in decline and the far right are on the rise. Is there a correlation or nah? Yes, there's a specific amount of evil that has to be in the universe in order for good to act as a counterpoint to it. And as wasps die out, human wasps or arseholes are gradually in the ascendancy. If we have no wasps at all, almost everyone will be a dick. So think about that next time you crush a wasp, you're birthing a bigot. Why can I no longer buy something caramel flavoured without the addition of salt? I don't necessarily want my caramel salted. I've had a chat to John Caramel, who still single-handedly manufactures and sells all of the UK's caramel, and this is now being dealt with. Coffee and tea just a gateway drug, or nah? No, it's quite possible to drink coffee and tea in a healthy, measured way, but it is, if you're thinking about getting addicted to something, coffee is a good practice one for sure. At what age is it not appropriate to give birthday cards, birthday gifts of cash? Good question, this. I think there's no age in which it would be inappropriate. I think most 60-year-olds or 70-year-olds, if you gave them 30 quid for their birthday, they would actually be happier than that, than with the tie, or they'd be happier with money than the tie or the socks, or if anything, as people get older, it becomes more difficult to get birthday gifts for them. What time is it, Alex?
5:25, not bad.
Too bad. So, approaching halfway, I would say again, if you have an old person with a birthday coming up, just don't be afraid to just give them an envelope stuffed with cash. The worst they can do is say that's inappropriate, and then you get the money back. Win-win. I think that's all of the YouTube ones, so we switch to Twitter. Will you be funneling your YouTube millions into a pseudo-philanthropic reach for space, or nah? Nah. Unlike Musk, I'm only interested in doing good through the internet. Also, I think it would be very, very, to use the word, fiddly to launch a space program.
See, it's not easy.
As regards my claim last week that I'd put a whole kiwi in my mouth for a minute for £20, someone has written, would you only want £20 to have a kiwi in your mouth for a minute? Really? Just asking as a gay New Zealander. So that just willfully changed my meaning. To do what I think you're implying, I would need, actually it's not really a financial transaction. It would be more sort of, we'd need to establish a long-term relationship and I'd need to sort of shift my sexual parameters. Why do people say a marriage has failed when you divorce, but they don't say your job failed if you resigned or you failed at life if you die? I like that idea, and I think from now on I'm going to push for at every funeral for people to say John, who failed to remain alive last Thursday. And all obituaries should start with whoever, this great scientist who failed to continue breathing despite the efforts of, yes, very nice. How many bananas do you have to eat before you die? Do you mean how many bananas would kill you, or how many bananas are you required to eat in a lifetime? I don't know how many bananas would kill you, but I do know everyone has to eat 300 bananas in their lifetime or they go to hell. So I hope that helps. Lots more talk about the olden days, by the way. If people can fail upwards, what would you say is an example of succeeding downwards? I think the best example of that I can think is writers and musicians, we've talked about this a bit before, who continue to write better or produce better and better work as they go on, but people are just less appreciative of it. Even here at the Fringe, you'll see comedians who are probably in the best form of their lives, but they're just not as luminous anymore because people's attention spans are short because of the thirst for new talent. Oh, now that, to be fair, was a dangerous branch. And I'll say again, a dangerous branch. And to shrug that off, it is
Those people
quite
are
impressive.
really looking at us.
I think, oh, by the way, we're getting looked at by all sorts of people. We've toned down the actual peril for this one in terms of how many children or old people we might trample to death. But there's still, because of where we are in the city of Edinburgh, there's far more eyes on this than any previous one. Will you attend the TikTok Riz party, Mark? I don't know what you mean, and please stop saying things like Riz and Brat. But I understand that you won't. Have you ever completely emptied a pomegranate? No, I have not, and you have no business answering that.
People.
Yes, nature's trees, if you will. Are fireworks louder now than in olden times? difficult to say, but probably. I definitely think more morons have got hold of fireworks these days than in olden times. There used to be more tighter regulations over who could buy fireworks. So there are more firework-related problemos, I would say, than there used to be. A divot, I'd say there, a little divot.
That's a fun word.
Yes, thank you, Alex. Good one for Wordle, perhaps, one day. 5-letter, a couple of vowels. Is nostalgia for the olden days justified, or are we romanticising the past for no reason? Very good question. When the term nostalgia was first introduced, it was actually kind of a negative thing. It was used to describe, I think, soldiers in the war who felt a sort of pain for their lost homeland. Like it was actually, well, not a disease exactly, but an illness, what we would now call a psychiatric condition.
1 minute.
Oh, bloody hell. So, yes, I think nostalgia is justified in the sense that it is unavoidable, but...
Tree!
Oh, now that was a biggie. But what is probably quite silly and reductive about these days is so-called nostalgia, where it's just people going, oh, remember when Britain was like this? And all the pictures just like a car or an ice cream van. We cannot avoid nostalgia, but we should avoid framing everything that happened in the old days as automatically superior. In other words, very, very quickly then, did you have a pager? And what sort of info would be page-worthy in the mid to late 90s? Amazingly, yes. For my 18th birthday, a group of my mates bought me a pager. Bands, steel drums.
Ooh. Oh, guilty feminist, Dad. Come on now. We're not paying.
No, we're also not trying to sabotage the guilty feminists.
What, no?
We don't want them as
Well,
enemies.
back we go.
Yeah, I did have a pager, and I had it in school, and now and again, if you're too young to remember pages, you had to ring up a phone number and dictate the message, and it would then be sent. So it was like texting through a third party, before texting. And one usage of it I can remember is as I was waiting to do my French oral A-level, but we don't have time for that story. Might finish that story next week. It depends if anyone's interested in how I nearly got disqualified from French A-level. That was quite an energetic one, Alex. Well done to both of us. I hope those of you, I mean, the thing is, actually, the reversal, the switcheroo did work quite well, so...
We didn't cover a lot of ground.
We didn't cover a lot of ground, but the ground we did cover, we did very well, and you do wonder whether now people will continue to demand that I go backwards, and we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see what the response is. As always, oh sorry, I feel myself getting a little bit funky. That happens sometimes. It's to do with, I think it's to do with the band. It could be independent funk. You can't always separate them out. My feet just won't sit. Oh no, they are staying still. They are. It's fine. If you please keep interacting. All right. If you will keep interacting with the content, please. Several people just write messages every time going, I'm interacting with the content. That's absolutely fine. Also love to hear your comments, even if they are harshly negative, as has happened a couple of times. You've got a chance of being read out. Please do keep new questions coming. I'm not going to set a theme yet for next episode. I think what we'll do is see what questions come up in the comments to this one, and then I'll build the suggested subjects around those. So questions on any subject for episode 12 will be welcome.
Also, I've got a fiver, so would you put your kiwi in your mouth for 15 seconds?
Yeah, I suppose I did say.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14. Thanks for watching, everyone.
See you next time.